So what's wrong with that, Kella? All right, so let's pretend that didn't just happen. All right, so we're going to be trying to focus in on health. All right, so we're going to start figuring out where we're at from a health perspective.
Mm-hmm.
All right. If you have questions as we're going along, we're going to ask that you go ahead and put your questions in the chat.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll have, towards the end, we'll have Q&A, and we'll get to whatever it is you need.
Yeah.
A lot of the questions may get answered as we go along.
Mm-hmm.
So by holding on to your questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. That way you don't have to remember them. They're there. And we'll get back to them to see how we can get you where you need to be.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, are you taking your health for granted? Are you?
Mm-hmm.
And without your health, where would you be? So go in the chat and answer, without your health, where would you be? So here's what I want you to put in the chat. On a scale of 1 to 10, how healthy do you say you are? 1 being, I am so not healthy at all. It's really bad.
Mm-hmm.
10 being, I'm super duper at the top of my game. So where do you feel 1 to 10 you are? What would you say for yourself? I think I would say, maybe I guess I feel like about a 7, maybe about a 7. And because that's because it leaves several numbers for me to grow into, because I know there's a lot of extra cool things that can happen. So what number?
So health, okay. So you're asking, ask that question again.
From a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being I'm the worst health ever, and 10 being I'm in the best health ever.
Okay, great. Okay, so the best health ever is always going to be a reach. Going to always want to be, for me, the best health ever. That's my goal.
Yeah.
Where I am now, I would say I'm around maybe you, where you are 7, 8, 8-ish, like that, because there's a few things out there that I'm looking at and I'm saying, you're appearing. Why are you appearing all of a sudden? Well, because the journey has been ongoing.
Yeah.
And it's healing and it's healing and then it's exposing and it's exposing. And that's where I'm at now.
Exactly.
So as it exposes a little bit more, I'm going to deal with that. So yeah, I see about an 8, maybe 7, 8, 8-ish, 8.
All right, so I have a 5 and a 4.5. Okay, well that's a solid middle ground. Like you got some basis going, and then you got some room to grow. That's pretty good. So now you want to ask yourself: are you suffering with any chronic conditions? Do you have any low energy, maybe low productivity? Do you want to age better? You know, what is the reason why? What are you trying to get out of this? Why are you here? What are you trying to accomplish? So what is your why? That's the question. What is your why? So if you'll put in the chat what your why is. And if you're not sure, it's like, you can say IDKY. I don't know yet. But what is your why? I'm here for a reason. What is it you're trying to accomplish? And it's important to know that so that you can have a reason to, you know, do the things that need to be done.
And what's IDKY?
I don't know yet.
Oh.
I don't know yet.
Okay.
So if they don't know yet, maybe it's like, I just want to feel better. You know, maybe it's generic. I just want to feel better, or I know I need to be healthier or something, and it's not really specific.
It's funny because the most important thing of all for me is the why.
Yeah.
That's the thing I keep going back towards. When I go back to that, each and every time I stumble or I'm looking at a stumbling block or something that's in my way, I ask myself why. Why am I doing this?
Yeah.
And I answer myself because I love myself.
Amen.
Now I know I shouldn't go over there, but self-care and self-love is where I'm at.
Amen. Amen. So, hi, welcome. Welcome, Miss Sheila. We were putting our whys in the chat. Why do we want to engage on some level from a health level? Why? What is our why? Do you have a chronic condition you're trying to improve? Do you maybe have low productivity, low energy? Are you brain foggy? Are you, full of inflammation? Or do you have pains or aches? What is the reason why you want to do better with your health? And if you want to put that in there, and maybe even you just want to be healthier as you age so that you prevent, get ahead of some of the problems. And that's for me. I'm more about getting ahead of some of the problems, right? Because as you age, all these things start kicking in, and we are told and taught that as you get older, you just start getting sick. That's just what happens. And you start learning like, wow, that's not what happens.
That's right.
But it is what happens because we see it happening all the time, but it doesn't have to happen.
No, and the sad part is that it's happening now, and mostly because of that sad diet. And we can talk about that another time. But the sad diet has produced that to happen. So it's inevitable. It's going to happen. And the great part is that we're noticing it, and we don't have to be part of that sad diet. So we can kind of hit, what do you call it when you hit it, something at the pass, what is that?
Head it off.
Oh yeah, we could head that off.
Yes.
Okay, so we don't have to suffer as much.
Right.
Okay, because we're going to make that different.
Okay, so I see to live healthily and not sickly as I grow older.
Yes.
And I see be pain-free in the future.
Amen.
Nice. And those are great reasons, and fasting can absolutely help with those things. So before you start any life change, there's a mindset that gets involved. So a lot of times we'll talk to people about fasting, and the first place they go is, what do I have to give up? You mean not eating? Are you saying, okay? And it just, all the red flags go up. Like, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I want to do this. It just seems like this big overwhelming thing. And so you got to change your mindset about what it means to fast. Because it means don't eat, right? It's like, wait, what?
That's right. Yeah.
But there's a time to eat and a time not to eat. So I think a lot of times we're used to our diets where we deprive ourselves, and sometimes deeply deprive ourselves in order to get some health benefit. And so fasting is, yes, you're not eating, but there is a point at which you are eating, and you're eating until you're full and satisfied and happy and just like, yay, I got to eat a lot of good things and my body's happy. And then the fasting comes after that. So it's not like you're on this little lettuce diet where you're eating, 100 calories and you're bare knuckling it and then you have to go fasting for 12 more hours on top of that. That's not the case at all.
Yeah.
So we do need to change our mindset about the fast, and the why will help with that, because you'll realize there's something you're doing that's useful.
Yeah.
And the mindset of, I'm going to take it a bit at a time. I'm not going to get in this big pit of struggling and starving myself to death for, hour upon hour, day upon day, week upon week. That's not the case at all. There is one other thing I want to say about fasting is when you're fasting, the body releases, without getting too technical, there is a enzyme called ghrelin, which is the hunger hormone. And it helps you to feel hungry. So when your body needs food, it's like, hey, make her hungry so she can eat. So the ghrelin gets pushed down as you fast. So it's a natural hunger suppressant. So you don't feel the way you feel right now when you're hungry. And you feel like, oh gosh, how do I, get these hunger pains away? They go away. It's just very, very different. So I'm inviting you to open your mind to the fact that it doesn't feel the way you think it would feel, number one. And it doesn't feel the way it feels right now when you don't eat. Like when you're hungry and get that hangry, it doesn't feel like that.
A lot of that hangry and that hangry is from the sugar addiction anyway.
True.
You eat, and then your glucose spikes, and before you know it, you're hungry again.
Yep. It's a cycle.
It's just a vicious cycle.
Yes.
And so what we're trying to do, and what my attempt is to do, is to fast so that I'm not digesting every 5 minutes or every hour, every 2 hours.
Right.
I'm allowing my innate intelligence, and Jay calls it intrinsic, how do you say it, Jay? Intrinsic intelligence to take its place where it is actually going into healing mode. We never looked at it that way. Yeah. All we do is we just keep reaching for, well, I'm hungry again. You're hungry after 2 hours. And so you got to really be careful of that, to allow that intrinsic healing to actually heal you. Yeah. And you'll be amazed. And especially if you're eating clean and you're eating healthy, what you're doing is you're getting all the nutrients you need. So you're really not going to be hungry.
Right.
And it's just I don't know. It's just wonderful.
And it's interesting that you said that about, especially if you're eating clean. That I just want to put a caveat in there.
Yeah.
Eat. It's the okay. So it's like there's levels, right? So there's this level up here you're trying to get. Like, I want to eat clean. I want to give my body all the best ingredients.
Mhm.
I want to be organic. I mean, this is sort of like the high bar up
Mhm.
here, right? And you're somewhere wherever you happen to be. Let's say
Yes.
you're right here, right? And so what we're doing right now with intermittent fasting is not necessarily changing what you're eating.
Mhm.
We're changing when you're eating. So if you want to take on more than one thing, like I want to improve my eating and my timing, and you feel good about that, go for it. But some people will feel overwhelmed. There's a lot of changes to be made in a short time.
Mhm.
So I encourage you, if you're that person who feels that overwhelming, don't worry about what you're eating right now.
Mhm.
You've been eating it all along. Just leave it the way it is.
Mhm.
Just leave it alone.
Mhm.
And let's focus on the timing. When are you eating? Let's get a fasting window. Let's get an eating window. And let's worry about what you're eating later, after you kind of get a little
Right.
fasting muscle built up.
Right. And that 12-hour is not a long time. You're sleeping half of that, or
Yeah.
3/4 of that. So that's kind of a good thing when you have had 12 hours. You've already fasted for 12 hours.
Right.
That's
we're
an
gonna talk
accomplishment.
we're going to talk about what that window is in a little bit, so you can
Mhm.
actually get your specific window.
Mhm.
So tomorrow you can jump right on it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you just need to slow down and take your steps.
Mm-hmm.
And as you get one step under your belt, take another one. And then you get one, take another one. You have nowhere to go. You have nowhere to go.
Yeah.
This is it. It's kind of like if I said, hey, you want to go to success? It's that way. And you just keep walking that way.
Mm-hmm.
You're just going to keep walking that way. So this is a journey. You're just going to keep walking that way. So let's start with reducing how much we're eating, how often we're eating, so our bodies can have a break to try to do some of the things you want, which is not be sickly and to be pain-free. We need our body to have a chance to work with that.
Yeah.
So this webinar is not going to solve all your problems. You're not going to be on this webinar and be like, yes, all my health problems are solved.
Although you never know.
Like I said,
if
that
you
way.
Get it.
It's that way. It's that way.
Yeah. But this is what the ancestors did. I mean, that they lived forever. Well, they lived a long time, you know.
Really?
I know. But still, I mean, they did it so easily and naturally.
Well, they did do it, but then again, they didn't have processed foods. They didn't have all of the industrialization. Right. They aren't sitting down at a desk. I mean, none of the things that we have, they had.
And that's why it's called SAD, folks.
Yeah.
SAD. Yeah. You got it?
Standard American Diet is SAD. So there's no magic bullet, but there is like a magic pathway.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say that. There's a magic pathway that really produces magical results. Mm-hmm. They're not magical. They're scientific, but it feels magical. Whoa, our bodies can do all these things. Your body's intrinsic intelligence is what that pathway is. If you can just tap into that. And the way you do that is through fasting. So life is going to happen. Ups, downs. Your health is going to be affected in so many ways. I mean, you could have a sudden health diagnosis and all of a sudden, here it is. You may have, anxiety, depression, mental health issues, just a lot of stress and pressure on you. You may be aging.
Yeah.
I mean, the laws of physics, you're going to age, right? Time is going to march on. Toxins, you may be exposed to lots of toxins. There's so many things. You may have an accident. So your life is just changing all the time. If you can put a hashtag life changes in the chat, hashtag life changes. So no matter what you're doing, life's going to change. And you can shift your fasting method to go along with that.
Absolutely.
Anything you want to say about that?
No. We just going to do it. Let's just do it. Let's just love and care enough about ourselves to actually do it.
Yes.
I mean, that's my why. My why is that I love myself. I want to show my Lord that I will respect what he has created.
Yeah.
I didn't know before. I know better now.
Yeah.
I did what they told me to do. Some of the things I did because I told me to do, or whichever. And now I know better, and I'm going to do better. And
Yeah.
because I'm going to love myself enough to take my temple back, because now I'm mad.
Yeah.
I'm really mad that sad diet took my temple. Okay. And I allowed it to happen. And
Yeah.
so I
We
got
all
an
did.
attitude now.
We all did.
Yeah.
We all did. We did what we thought, and now we're trying to learn something
So
else.
now I want it back.
For sure. So when you're taking care of your body, that your body will handle changes better. So consider this. If you take the time to beef up the health in your body, take care of your body. When things do come, this life changes in life and these things come, your body will be more able to manage it. The immune system will be stronger. Your stress levels will be lower. You'll have more dopamine to help you to feel better about life, the positive glass full, half full instead of half empty. All of these things, it's like you're fortifying yourself. I want you to think about like a football player. Right? A football player who doesn't train, he doesn't really lift, he doesn't really, get his body conditioned. He goes out there and gets hit.
It's over.
That's a wrap.
It's over.
He's folded. That's a wrap. But the same scenario where the football player who really, really conditions his body. I'm not going to talk about Pacheco last night with the Kansas City. Wait, never mind. Anyway, so he conditions himself so well that he can take all these hits and he's still standing.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing. That's what fasting does. It prepares you for when life changes come. It gets you ready ahead of time.
And it gets you prepared for longer fasts. You'll be amazed. So it's your fasting muscle is really getting strong. And you'll find out that you don't have to eat a lot for a long time.
Honestly, you'll see.
It's just so wonderful.
Has anyone fasted before in here? Any of you have already done some sort of fasting before, either IF or a longer term fast? If you have, just put in the chat like maybe how many hours or whatever you've done, days or hours in the past. And while you're doing that, I will tell you that, when your body gets attacked, like say if you get sick, it's flu season right now. So you start getting a flu bug comes to you. If your body is firmed up and ready for it, it can push it off a lot better, right? But if the flu gets to you and it starts attacking you and it starts breaking down things, your systems are all interrelated. So one system gets attacked and then it's domino effect, the next system and the next system and the next system. You get chronic damage, autoimmune or something. It's not that system. Then now the next system kicks in and the next system kicks in and the next one. So you have all this domino effect in your systems. So we don't want that. We want to ward it off from the start. And you were saying something about like new car parts or something. What was that you were saying?
Oh, yeah.
With a car
you know how we bring our cars in? We bring our cars in. That's that Massachusetts thing. We bring our cars and our vehicles into the shop. And you know
Vehicles?
the vehicle. Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Some have two, I don't know, 3 or 4. But anyway, you bring it into the dealer, and you know how you get a part removed and a part exchanged. What do they repair it?
Put a new part
in. They put a new part in, and then you go off on your merry way, and before you know it, something else is going wrong because that new part is so good, it affects the older part that's next to it.
Yeah.
And before you know it, you're going right back for the next part.
Yeah.
And it's sort of like a domino effect,
Yes.
So yeah.
So we want to get ahead of
of all of that. That's right. So
as we get into this 5-day intermittent fast.
We could be a car. I'm sorry.
A car. Maybe a car.
We could be a car.
As we move into this 5-day intermittent fasting challenge, we're going to learn more about what IF is exactly, what it isn't, because there's a lot of myths about what it isn't. How you can overcome some obstacles that you might face as you try to intermittent fast. Certain things are going to come up for you, and you're going to want to kind of meet those and deal with those. And obviously the many, many benefits of intermittent fasting and what it feels like. Like, what do you expect to happen in your body? What are some things that are normal that you might feel like, oh no, this is happening? And we can go, well, that's normal. That's what happens. So you have some kind of, like baseline standard about it. So day 1 is going to start pretty much
Tomorrow,
now,
well,
overnight,
yeah.
right? Overnight. So hopefully you've had a chance to think about what fasting cycle you might want to be on. And I don't see anything in here about fasting. So maybe none of you have fasted before. So
Yeah.
if you haven't fasted before, then that would be beginner. So we would recommend 12 and 12.
Absolutely 12, no less than 12. Um, so think about when you just finished eating.
Mhm.
If you're done for the day and it is what, 8 o'clock?
Mhm.
It's 8 p.m. Think about it. You're going, if you don't eat any more from 8 p.m. right now, you go to bed whenever you go to bed, 10, 11, blah, blah, blah. You get up at 8 p.m. or 6 p.m. or 7 p.m., depend on when you get up. If you can wait until 8 a.m. or longer before you put anything in your mouth, you will have had the 12-hour fast right there.
That's right.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it. And if you're a person, for instance, that doesn't eat breakfast till later anyway, look at you. You already got 12 hours plus whenever. So maybe you eat at lunchtime.
Right.
Now you add those. That's like, wow, 14, 16 hours right there.
Right.
That's it. But no less than 12 when you begin, no less than 12.
Right.
Because the digestion, there's something about our body system that needs that 12 hours, not putting anything in the body, the digestion.
Except water.
Except
water.
Yeah, water. But you don't want digestion going on. You just don't want, you want healing going on.
Right. And you may already know this, but digestion is very energy heavy.
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of energy to digest. And for me, the biggest sort of mistake, or what I didn't realize all along, was nibbling. Okay, so I wouldn't eat a lot of food at once, and they just make fun of me. Mom eats like a bird, because I wouldn't eat a lot at once, right?
But I said that too.
But then you were supposed to be grazing, and you were supposed to be eating 6 small meals a day, and the FDA and the NIH, the health associations were telling us that. Just eat these small meals a day, not too much in your stomach, and all of that stuff, which clearly turned out to be completely wrong. But what I didn't realize was, for example, I would eat healthy. So I'd eat a salad, maybe half a sandwich or something. But then later I might go and say, oh, I'm going to grab a handful of grapes and eat those. Digestion just started all over again. A few hours go by, maybe it's like 5 o'clock, I eat my meal, I'm digesting again.
That's right.
Then maybe at 6:30, it's like, oh, I couldn't fit my dessert at the same time. So now at 6:30, I'm going to eat my dessert or whatever. I'm digesting again. And then it's 8 o'clock and I'm going to watch something on TV, or I'm going to read a book, and I'm going to eat some popcorn or something. Digesting again. And then I want some nuts. And then like 9:30, I grab a handful of nuts. I'm digesting again. So even though it's only a little bit,
that's right,
one handful, it triggers the same energy and the same digestive process all over again.
That's right. All day long.
Yes.
Now, when that's happening all day long, the organs that are there to heal are now fighting constantly to just survive. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So there is no healing going on ever. It just gets worse and worse and worse.
Right.
Plus, you got to remember, because there's no healing, the cells are just dying all over the place. You're not getting nothing going on here. There's no autophagy. There's nothing going on.
Right.
It's just saying, oh, no, please don't keep. Are you going to put that in me now? It's just dying, just begging you to stop. Just stop, okay?
Yes, for sure. So I think that was a fallacy that really struggled a lot. I didn't know I was doing. It's just eating all the time. And I know even if you're at work or at school or wherever you are, and somebody brings something to eat, and you say, oh, I'm not going to eat all that cake or those pizza or whatever. Yeah. And you tell yourself, oh, that's not good. I'm not going to eat that. So I'm only going to eat a half a slice, or I'm only going to eat a little piece. And what you don't realize is you still ate, even though it was a little.
Telling you.
the digestion started again. So if you were in your eating window, that would have been fine. But if you weren't in your eating window and you just did that little bit, it just boom knocks you out of your eating window. And that is where your fasting loses. You lose the benefit that you were going to get. And in fact, you defeated yourself.
That's right.
So
That's right.
especially if you were into the window, like well into it, say you had fasted already for 8 hours or 9 hours, and then you took that one handful of grapes or that one half a banana, and you're telling yourself, I'm only going to have little. Good logic, right? No, you broke your fast. And the 12-hour benefit, because you have to go at least 12 hours to get it. You went 9, 10, that means all the hours were for naught.
It's all gone.
You didn't get any of it.
Bear in mind, if you can remember this, it's not eating less.
Right.
It's eating less often.
Correct. That's big. Say that again. That's big.
It's not eating less. It's eating less often. So if you're sitting at a meal, for instance, eat till you're full.
Right.
And when you eat till you're full, what happens is your body is telling you, okay, you had enough. Especially if you're eating healthy and clean. Now you're getting all the nutrients that you need. They're being absorbed by your body.
Yeah.
And your body's saying, oh, wow, thank you. And now I'm full.
Exactly.
Now, bear in mind what you just did. You ate till you were full, and you ate good food, nutrients. You absorb them, and they last longer.
Yeah.
Which means you're not going to be hungry for a while, quite a while. See how the body just takes care of you? It's just amazing. So it's not eating less, it's eating less often.
Yes. Oh, hi. Hi.
Hey.
That must be for Weenie. Hello. It's good to see you.
Hi, for Weenie.
So here's the thing. I think a lot, as I was talking about and leading up to this fast, talking to different people, I get the same thing over and over again. And a lot of it is, how much do I get to eat? Because the mentality of dieting for, decades on decades has always been take away, like reduce what you're eating, use your willpower to reduce what you're eating. And this is fasting. That model is not a fasting model at all. How much you're eating, honestly, is irrelevant right now. Completely irrelevant. I mean, I know that's hard to hear, but it's irrelevant. If you stuffed yourself, like Mom said, eat till you're full, you really shouldn't overstuff like we do on Thanksgiving, but we do, right? So if you just ate and stuffed yourself and just during your eating window, you just ate and ate and ate and ate and ate, that won't change the fact that you didn't eat for 12 hours. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's the key. So let's not focus on what you're eating right now. Let's leave that fight for another day. Eat what you're eating, and don't eat during the time that you're getting your full 12 or 14 or 16 or however many hours you're getting. Don't eat during those. And here's the cool thing about that. Because you know you can eat, you can hold on. There's like this extra piece that happens. Like if I know I can't eat, but I'm going to eat 4 celery sticks and, a piece of whatever, I don't look forward to that. It's like, okay, fine, I'll eat it. I'm on a diet. But if you know you can eat, like I'm going to eat in 2 hours. I'm going to eat. If you know that's your eating window, say it's, I don't know, say it's morning and your eating window doesn't open till 10 a.m. and it's morning, it's 8:30. Go to work, get busy, do something, busy yourself. Don't pay attention. And then before you know it, it's 10 o'clock. You're like, ooh, it's 10 o'clock. I can eat now. Sometimes you might even go, I'm going to wait an extra half an hour because I'm so, because you're feeling so happy that you can eat now.
Amen. Yes.
You can eat.
Yes.
Go get your big meal, your breakfast, your, I'm going to eat keto pancakes, but maybe you'll eat whatever, your waffles or your eggs and bacon. Eat it and feel full and happy and eat during your window. But when your window closes, respect that the window is closed and fight to keep it closed. And when you feel like eating, just remember tomorrow I get to eat what I'm going to eat. The deprivation is not there. I hope that helps.
And that's where your why comes in again.
Yeah, that's true.
It'll help you right there. Well, why am I doing this? And that will come right into play for you. But yeah, do it for yourself. It's sort of like giving yourself a gift.
Yeah.
Because you know it's going to work out eventually. It's going to be so. I'm telling you, Jamie makes fun of me all the time, but I always say this. It is fun.
Okay.
It is so much fun when you discover that not only can you do it, but you're doing it, and it's like it's so much fun because you got control. I'm telling. I know you don't. Yeah, I know. It's fun.
I hear you though, and I'm gonna give you that because there is some excitement to it. Like, oh, I'm doing this. This is cool. Like you feel the look at me go.
I got this.
Right?
Woo-hoo.
But it's the word fun. Okay.
All right. So
there's some parts of that are like this is unfun right now. Okay. Like I'm just doing what I got to do. I'm a big girl. I got to do what I got to do. I got to be responsible. So it's not necessarily fun, but it could be very rewarding and satisfying at times. And then sometimes it can be kind of fun. So I'll give you a little bit of it.
Well, I can call it love.
You can get a little bit of it. All right. So what is your fasting cycle? So we need to know what your fasting cycle is. If you're a beginner, I see Sheila said, I fasted for 12 to 24 hours, one day at a time. Excellent. So you've gotten up to 24. So that she's got some fasting muscle going on. So if you haven't fasted in a while though, you may start with 12-12 just to kind of get your feet wet. You may start at 14-10. So beginners, 12-12 or 14-10 is where you're going to start, whatever's comfortable for you. If you're intermediate, you're probably going to be in around the either 14-10 or 16. Yeah. Right. And if you're advanced, then you can do the 16-8, 18-6 and keep going from there. But you're going to start with one of those, right? You don't usually start with a 24-hour fast, right? I mean, you would have had to have been fasting all along, and your fasting muscle is pretty strong before you jump into that. So first, figure out what your fasting cycle is. So if you'll put it in the chat, your fasting cycle. So it will look like, 12-12 or 14-10. So I'm going to put mine in, and mine is going to be 16-8.
Yeah, that's me too.
So Jamie is 16-8.
Actually, mine's 18.
And Barbie
18-6 is for me.
Is going to start with 18-6. And if you put your cycle in the chat, so you know what your cycle time is.
Yeah.
Denise, it's not fun. LOL. Thank you.
It is fun, Denise.
Thank you for that backup. Thank you.
All right, fun. Let's call it love. Okay, it's love.
Stuff. It can be inspiring.
It's
okay,
love
but
me.
You can have fun.
All right,
you can have that. You don't have
love,
to.
love.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so put your fasting cycle in there. And then you want to, the next thing, once you know what your fasting cycle is, now you have to pay attention to when do I want to start when is my fasting window? When is my eating window? A lot of times we'll talk about when our eating window is, because that's sort of the positive, when I get to eat. When do I get to start eating, right? So you want to think about who are you as a person? And this is really important. You want to make your fasting cycle fit into your life.
Oh, yeah.
You're not going to change your life around and do all kind of so that you can fit a fasting cycle.
That's right.
That's not the way to do it at all. That's not setting yourself up for success. So you want to think about, what does my day look like? Am I a morning person? When I get up in the morning, I'm like ready to go. I want to eat. I want my drink, my coffee. I want to eat. I want to do everything in the morning. Then you want to start your fasting cycle your eating cycle shortly after you wake up. Decide what that is. And of course, you have to get up, you have to get dressed, take a shower, whatever, getting yourself together. Maybe you're having a quiet time to read, whatever you're doing in the morning. That doesn't count. When are you going to put food in your mouth? And that's even the preparing. If you're going to prepare food, that doesn't count. It's when are you going to put the food into your mouth? That's the beginning of your eating cycle. And if you're doing 12-12, you take that time, you just add your 12 hours on, and there you have it. If you're not a morning person, you get up and you just don't feel like eating in the morning. Maybe you eat 2 hours after. So maybe your fasting window can be 10 or 9 or even 11. So then add your hours on that way. If you're a dinner person, like dinner is it for me. I like
Mm-hmm.
to sit down at 7 at night and I like to just
Mm-hmm.
eat and feel happy about it or whatever. Make sure that you have that time is in your eating window. So that's how that goes. So if you'll put in the chat, I see a couple of fasting cycles in here. Okay, I see Ferwini is 16:8, Denise 14:10, Sheila 12:12,
All right now.
Kella 12:12.
Yeah.
So
That's awesome.
perfect. So
Awesome.
then now you want to think about what time am I going to eat? What's my eating window? So what time are you going to put food in your mouth tomorrow morning?
Mm-hmm.
What time? So put that in the chat. What time you're going to eat in the morning? Because before you go to sleep tonight, you want to know. You want to be ready and prepared.
Mm-hmm.
This is when I'm eating in the morning. So you don't get up and just do the old habit and forget. So put in the chat what your eating time is, and I'll put ours in. So I'm going to be, I said I'm 16:8. All right, so Jamie. Oh, I spelled my own name wrong. That's tragic. All right, so I'm going to be eating window is going to be 11. And I'm going to go until 7. Barbie?
I'm going to do 4 o'clock and I'll be done by 5. That's just the way it is. Then I won't see food until the next
18:6.
day.
So what's your 6-hour window?
My 6 hours is
between
from 4
to eat
o'clock.
anytime
4,
between
yeah,
4
between
and
4.
10?
Yeah,
I mean, you
10.
won't eat at 10.
No,
but
I
that's
won't.
Your window.
I won't.
Okay.
It's 4 to 10.
4 to 10.
But I'll be done by 5
okay, but
or 5, maybe 6.
4 to 10 is your eating window, though. We want to keep
That's
the window.
exactly right.
Right?
4 to 10.
So we got eating windows. Okay, we have 10 a.m. Okay. So Denise is 10 a.m. So 10 and 12 would put her to 10 p.m.
Yep.
So you can, all the way up to 10 p.m., you can be eating. Of course, we're going to bit by bit realize you don't like to eat. Ideally, you don't want to eat and then just go straight to bed. And I think we all know that on some level, but we still do it sometimes. We'll snack and do different stuff. Yeah. And it's fine. But you'll eat, your window is open from 10 a to 10 p. She says, no, 8 p.m. I will end. So she's ending within her window. So this is what's cool is you realize your window is probably open longer than you're even going to use it. Mm-hmm. But 10 a to 10 p, anytime she wants to eat, she will eat any time in between that window. That's whatever you want.
That's right.
Eat it. I have, who else's window? Go ahead, say what you want to say.
Keep in mind, though, you really do not, whatever windows you choose, whatever fasting you do not want to eat for at least 3 or 4 hours before you go to bed. Okay. It's really important. At no less than 3 at least before you want to end your window at least 3 hours before you go to bed.
And that's ideal. So again, when we were talking about the standard, the gold standard, that's the gold standard. 3 hours before, or 3 or 4 hours before you get in your bed and sleep.
That's right.
No more eating.
That's right. You don't want your body digesting and doing all that stuff at night.
Right.
While you're sleeping. You don't want to do that.
Right. But again, that's an advanced level conversation. So if you're advanced fasting, that's where you are.
Yeah.
If you're beginning fasting, your window's open. Yeah. Eat.
Yeah.
Eat. Yeah. Because your body will tell you. See, we don't want to put too many rules on you because your body is your rules. Your body will tell you that because you'll eat at your window closes at 10 p.m., Denise, and maybe you go and eat something at 9:30 and you eat something and then you just don't sleep as well and just
you're going to be up all night.
Your body told you, maybe stop a little earlier. And part of fasting is you're focusing on your body. It's going to tell you these things. Yes. So don't overwhelm yourself with too many rules. But at the same time, if you like that, then cool, jump right into it and just stop if you several hours earlier. Either way,
absolutely.
Take it, but know your body is the first line of information for you. So then we have another eating window. I start eating at 12, but sometimes I have black coffee with collagen and a little bit of sugar-free coffee creamer around 9. Does that break my fast? Ooh, that's a great question. And yes, we're going to talk about that in a minute. I need Kella and who else? Sheila. Make sure you figure out what your fasting hour when your eating window opens so that you're clear when you wake up when your eating window opens. And then you'll be able to know, oh, 8 a.m. I'm sorry. I do see you up there, 8 to 8. Forgive me. I see you. 8 to 8. Perfect. So then you know when your eating window is. So eat. Here's the thing. Do not deprive yourself eating during your eating window. I know you got the whole diet mentality, but you're not on a diet. You're not on a diet. You're not on a diet. Eat. Eat. Eat.
You clarify that also. When Jamie says eat, remember what we said earlier.
Yeah.
It's not how much you eat. It's not
what you eat. It's
not
when you eat.
It's how much, it's how often you eat.
Right.
That make sure you got that importance. When Jamie keeps telling you eat, 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 what we're saying is eat, get full.
Yes.
Eat till you're full. Don't eat 15 times a day.
Right.
A little bit, a little bit, a little bit,
Right.
a little bit. When you sit down in your eating window and you see that now you can eat, sit down and eat.
Yes.
Because what'll happen is you'll get full.
Right.
You will not want to eat for another 2 or 3 hours. Okay. And if your window is 6 hours, you'll eat within that window.
Right.
Then you'll have 2 meals.
Right.
But you'll eat. You won't have 6
right.
little meals here and there. You don't want to do that. So it's less often.
Yes. And that is your goal. So again, we're moving. This is the direction. Remember when I said go there, go over there?
Yes.
That's the direction you're moving. So we're giving you all this information because we want you to know what the gold standard is.
Yes.
And we want you to go that way. But don't beat up on yourself.
No.
If you don't go that way fast, right?
No.
Some of you are going to jump and go that way. Boom, you're done. That's it. You'll stop eating 3 hours before bed. You'll eat 2 solid meals a day. You won't snack. And you're on your way and you're golden. Some of you will struggle like, oh my gosh, I am so used to doing this. I eat a little snack. I do this. I do that. I'm trying to give you permission to tackle one problem at a time. The problem I'm asking you to tackle right now is don't eat for 12 hours.
You're right.
Or 14 or 16, whatever that is. That is your priority. That is your priority. If you can add these other things on top, please do it.
Yes.
But if you can't, that your priority is not eating during your closed window.
Right.
So if you snack too many meals during the day, so be it. Don't eat during your closed window. If you mistakenly, or you eat things that aren't as clean as they should be, or you do whatever, and it's like, oh, yuck. Why did I just go eat at Hardee's or something? Whatever. Your priority is keep your window closed.
Right.
And the reason I'm doing that is because we have this thing that we do as people and as dieters and as healthy people. We make a mistake during the day and then we throw out everything.
It's all out.
Yeah. Right? Tell me you've never done it. Matter of fact, if you've done this, just put in the chat me.
Yeah.
If you've done this. You're on some kind of regimen, whatever that is. You're deciding to do whatever you're doing. I'm not going to eat sugar. Or I'm not going to eat McDonald's, or I'm not going to whatever. And whatever happens, life changes.
That's right.
And all of a sudden you lost track of time. You did whatever. And now it's like, turn it. And you just eat whatever. And you feel so bad. Like, I shouldn't have eaten all that. I messed up, whatever. You know what? Fine. I'm just going to eat everything else now and I'll start tomorrow. And you throw the whole day away. Right?
Oh my God. I've done that 1,000 times. I can't even tell you. Not only did I do it, but I had to think of every single food I could possibly think of.
Get all that good stuff in right now.
Go get that muffin and everything else that I couldn't have.
Yeah,
oh my God.
Yeah.
But thankful to God right now that I'm not there now, but God knows I was there.
Yeah. So so again, we're giving you things to shoot for, but you know yourself, take what you can, but your priority is don't eat for those 12, 14 or 16. Just that's your priority.
Right.
You will get so many benefits if you just hold on to that one priority. And then we'll worry about this other stuff as we go along.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough? I was doing it all wrong. I was just not eating sweets for 12 hours. Now I understand. Awesome. I'm so glad. Yes, that is a difference. So, again, it's not a diet. This is not a diet. And we do want to get to the point where we're doing like 24-hour water fast and $2 and $3 3-day water fast. We want to get to that point with you guys together. It will be so amazing. But you got to start with your mind and with your habits and giving your body some wins. I'm telling you, the benefits of 12 to 14 to 16-hour fasts daily, amazing.
That's right.
Aside from what you're eating. And let me encourage you with this. There is a study, actually multiple studies, where side by side, so like us two, okay? So we eat the same thing, right? So what are we eating? We're going to get up and eat glazed donuts for breakfast. Don't cry. Don't cry.
I won't cry.
We're going to eat glazed donuts for breakfast and with a smoothie or something. And then we're going to snack. And then we're going to, for lunch, we're going to have this big, amazing fast food restaurant lunch, our favorite one that we love, with fries and a milkshake and everything. And then later we're going to eat, we're going to be drinking 4 or 5 sodas all day, by the way. Not diet, just regular. And then we're going to
talk about hating each other.
Then we're going to eat a huge dinner, and for dessert we're having this big hunk of cheesecake or carrot cake or
tiramisu
or whatever. All day we're going to eat all this, right? So here's the experiment. We're both eating it. Okay? Mom is going to eat that all within 8 hours. So she's going to eat that within an 8-hour window, and then she's going to fast for the other 16 or even 10 in a 10-hour, and she's going to fast for 14 hours. I am not going to do any of those things. I'm just going to eat all these same exact thing, but I'm going to eat it over the course of the whole day up until bedtime, go to bed, get up and start eating again. So I'm not fasting. She is. 10 hours, she's fasting 14 hours. 14 hours. They did a study for us after we did that. Her health markers, her metabolic health, completely different than mine.
That's right.
She ate the same junk I ate. And that alone was a magnanimous difference in your health. And that's why we're not encouraging you to eat a bunch of donuts and stuff.
No.
But if that's where you are, that's where you are. Keep your fasting window the way it is.
That's right.
Keep your fasting window closed.
Because it's the fasting window.
Later. We'll worry about the food later.
That's
Keep
right.
the fasting window closed. And that's kind of your
priority.
Amazing. So, yeah. So that's that. So now if we know what our fasting window is, we know what our fasting cycle is, this is for 5 days. So this starts tonight. So after you get off of this webinar, if your fasting window is closed, which most of you are, a few of you still have an open window, you could be eating right now while you're looking at us because your window's open. Right? When your fasting window closes, that's it. So get yourself up tomorrow morning, get your mind right about what time you're eating, and make plans to eat at that time if that's what you want to do.
And write down your why.
Write down your why on an index card.
Why are you doing this?
And then get busy. If you're a busy person, this is your best friend. Get busy, because the hunger might come for a second, but you're so busy, like, oh, I ain't got time for that. You just move on, and it goes away. And then you can tackle it later. So, yes. So that's what we'll do tomorrow, starting tonight and going into tomorrow. What else I wanted to make sure? Go ahead.
The coffee.
Yeah, coffee.
Coffee is a thing. Somebody asked about having coffee and what did he say? The cream or I can't.
Coffee. Oh, I start eating at 12. Okay. But sometimes I have black coffee with collagen and a little bit of sugar-free coffee creamer around 9. Does that break my fast?
Interesting.
That's a very specific question, and there's a very specific answer.
Yeah. The cream.
Well, it depends though, because remember me?
Yeah.
Remember me?
Yeah, you tell your story because I remember.
Remember me?
I remember you.
All right, so here's the thing about coffee, tea. You can drink water unlimited, and it can be sparkling water, mineral water, hydrogen water.
Yeah, hydrogen water.
It can be seltzer water.
RO, reversed osmosis.
Yes, all of
clean
those
water.
And it could be the bubbly water. If you like bubbles, you can drink some of the
You're good with that.
seltzer waters and stuff like that, or just plain water all the time. That's definitely a thing. But coffee, black tea, whether it be any kind, green, black, green tea, black tea, whatever, herbal tea, those are all acceptable that don't break your fast.
Right.
So you can have them black. That's fine. The challenge comes in when you want to add things to it.
That's right.
And actually MCT oil usually is
fine.
But here's the key. Everyone's metabolic system is different and at a different state, the stage you're at right now. So we can't say, yes, it will break your fast. No, it won't break your fast. You have to determine whether it does or not.
Well, actually, there is a way to determine that.
Yes.
Okay. So if you're checking your glucose and your ketones, you get your mojo.
Not your ketones, just your glucose.
Well, it depends. He's doing 16 or 18, what you call. So he's probably got a little bit of ketones going on. But anyway, check your glucose. And what you do is, before you have your coffee, check your glucose. Write it down. Have your coffee. A half hour later, check your glucose. If it spikes up 1 or 2, maybe 3 or 4, actually 3 or 4, maybe 5, coffee's not what you want. If you don't spike and you only spike 1 or 2 or whatever, fine, you're fine with the coffee. But if you see a spike, then that coffee is affecting you. And by the way, I just want to bring it to your attention that you might want to have some organic coffee. Don't add to the coffee with the toxins. Just get some organic coffee, please.
Again, that's the gold standard. Oh, we're at the gold standard again.
Remember, coffee is mold. Just want to get you out. Coffee is mold. It's all mold, all of it, unless it's organic. Sorry.
So, yes, thank you for that. So checking your glucose. So here we're doing a 5-day intermittent fast. If you do not have a glucose meter, if you do not have one,
all right,
you can go out and get one. This would be a good time to do that. Or you can choose to not drink, just have black coffee and black tea for these 5 days.
Yeah.
So that because you're not sure if it's kicking you out of your fast.
Yeah.
Or you can wait and have your coffee just the way you want it during your eating window. Okay, so you have some options. So let's talk about them. So the glucose meter, you can go to any kind of drugstore, CVS, Walgreens, or whatever, and you can buy a little set. It'll be a little, it might be $15 or something, a glucose meter. It will come with strips in it already, and the lancets to do your glucose. It'll come, it's very basic. You can get that and get started with it. You just poke it and you test your blood on the strip, and it will tell you what it is. 45 minutes or so after you have your coffee, you test it again.
Yep.
And then, like she said, if it's more than 5 points up, then that's a problem. So you can't have your coffee until your eating window. Like me, though, I actually, when I drink tea, I drink hot tea. When I put creamer in my hot tea, heavy cream, not the flavored, not like, what is it called? International Delight or coffee.
Please. We can light that up. You can put fire to that. It'll flame.
Okay, so
I just want you to know that international kind of thing, just so you know.
Yes, so I'm not talking about
that's bad. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Don't buy that. Go ahead.
Okay, again, gold standard.
Organic,
right? I have to
heavy cream.
I have to keep coming in with the gold standard. Okay, so you can work towards not drinking that.
I'm so bad.
But if that's what you're drinking and that's your thing, so be it. Do it during your eating window. Because if you use the coffee, the Internationals and the Coffee Mate and all those flavored creamers, they're most likely kicking you out of ketosis. Out of your window. That's gonna break your fast. Forgive me. That's gonna break your fast. So what I'm saying is heavy cream.
Organic.
Okay, so heavy cream has fat in it. And so for me, the way my body operates, because of where I am metabolically, I can have a cup of hot tea with a tablespoon or 2 even of heavy cream. And I can put a little stevia, and that does not break my fast at all. So I do my blood sugar, and in fact, it sometimes drops a few points. It doesn't go up at all. So I'm fine with that. But I've tested it, and that's why I know. Now, somebody else, mom might do that with the creamer, and it might knock her all the way out. So the answer is not yes or no. The answer is you have to check for
yourself.
yourself, and you have to know what works for you and what doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
So let me see. What about the ice waters? Does that count as water? Like the flavored water called ice.
Oh, okay.
You know, the ones,
Right,
you know,
right.
flavored one, and hint,
Yeah.
and like those flavored ones. You know, that's a gray area, I have to
Yeah,
confess.
it is gray. It's gray during your window. During your fasting window, you don't want that. You really don't. It'd be okay if you had, when you're in your eating window, if you had. And what I like to do about that, because I'm even a little iffy on the ingredients in there, although they're okay, but there is a little iffiness there. I put a little bit of that flavor. This might be helpful in some RO water. So you have your regular
Water.
reverse or whatever, what your good water. Put a little of that flavor in it, and you'll limit all that, because it's kind of sweet to your taste also. But yeah, you can use the ice, but just I would use it with a bottle of water. I would just put the little flavor in there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I've never tested myself
Yeah.
with that ice water.
Yeah.
And you know, you've given me a reason. So I'm going to actually test
Yeah.
myself on that. And tomorrow, I'm going to write a little note down
Yeah.
on that.
Yeah.
Because in the future
Mhm.
webinars this week, I can test it and I can come back and
Mhm.
give you at least a little feedback on what that looked like. If you have a glucose meter, you can test it yourself and see what it does. You want to give yourself time for your body to process it.
Mhm.
So here's the thing. Whenever you put something in your mouth, your body responds with insulin to deal with that, right? So it's the insulin response is what breaks your fast.
Yeah.
So if you take something and your body responds with insulin, then the answer is no. You can't have that on your fasting window. You have to have it during your eating window. Now, we're only talking about fasting. We're not talking about the health part or the organic part or any of that. We're literally talking about the insulin response, right? Okay. So the insulin response, we're only talking about the insulin response. So if it does not cause an insulin response, then technically and physiologically, you are not breaking your fast because there's no insulin being released.
But see, here we're going to have the fun again.
Right. What?
You see why this is fun? This is fun. You're actually checking yourself out. Yes. You're learning so much about you.
Yes.
It's like you're just loving yourself all over the place. That's fun to me.
Fair enough. I'll accept it.
Thank you.
So that's the deal with coffee and tea and different water, like the flavored waters and stuff. So that's that. Anything else we need to make sure we cover? So we know what our window is. And I think the key was for us to make sure we knew what our window was going to be. So you're going to actually be, when we come back tomorrow, you would have been fasting. Some of you, we're going to be here each night this week. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Yeah. We will be here at 7:30 going through what's going on. Each day we have a different set of information to talk about which benefits that you're focusing on, what stumbling blocks you may have had, what obstacles may have come into play. And we're going to kind of work through, and you're going to bring forward anything you're looking for clarity on each night. And I recognize already some people have already told me, like, hey, I work on such and such a night, or I got this going on on such and such a night. So you may not, be here for each and every night. So I put down about the ice. So definitely, I think that was Kella who said that. So definitely whenever you come back, if you come tomorrow or Wednesday or whatever day you're back with us,
give you the results.
Go in the chat and be like, hey, what happened with that ice water? And that way I can share it with other people, but I want to make sure that it gets shared specifically with you also, since, it was your question to start with. So, and then I would invite you, any of you who do the glucose testing on your coffee or your tea, please make sure when you come back, tell us. We want to hear like what happened. You can also go on the Facebook group.
Get right onto the community. Get your questions, and you might have questions after this. Go on the Facebook community. Write in your questions. We'll get them all answered to you. Maybe you want a brand name of something, and trust me, we got all of it.
Yeah. So tell them, like, the Facebook. What's going on with this group, the Facebook group? Tell them about that.
Well, they get on the Facebook group. You can ask your questions. You can share anything you want, and because the community they can benefit. Yeah, they can talk to each other. Plus, you're going to get your answers.
Yes.
And some of those answers you might want to really get good answers. You don't want just what's out there. You want to know. So sometimes they'll ask for a brand name of certain thing, like your coffee, for instance.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, we got them all.
Yes.
Everything is, just go on there. You'll see.
So that's the Facebook group. That's one way to get in touch and to get a question. Also, you can email us, of course.
Yes.
info@therealhealthyu.com.
Yes.
And you can go on our website,
Mm-hmm.
therealhealthyu.com.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be getting the links. So the email that you got to get on here,
Mm-hmm.
that has the links for the rest of the week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and
Mm-hmm.
Friday. Those
Mm-hmm.
links are on the lower half of that email. Mm-hmm. And each day when you get an email, those same links will be down there so that you always have access to them. Definitely share with friends if there's some other people that you want to fast alongside to help support you. And also really start thinking about what would be your stumbling areas so you can get ahead of what would cause you to break your fast when you don't want to. So, if it's like get out of the kitchen at a certain hour at the night, if you know that your window closes at 8 p.m., maybe you're going to plan to stay away from the kitchen after 8 p.m. because maybe that's a temptation for you. Or maybe you're going to get busy. You have work to do. Instead of doing your work at 6 o'clock in the evening, maybe you'll eat. And then at 8, when your fasting window closes, you'll do your work because now you're busy. So you want to plan success for yourself until your body has a chance to make the adjustments so that it doesn't feel hungry anymore. It's only a few days. You're going to, I shouldn't say that. It depends on where you are metabolically right now. If you are very, very sugar addicted, you're very, very metabolically out of balance, you will feel some of the loss when you're not eating for those 12 or 14 hours. Your body will be like, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? But if you can hang in there, it only takes literally a few days, 2, 3, maybe 4, depending on how far, it is, before your body's like, whoa.
She's loving me. He's loving me.
He's not giving me any
He's
food.
not
What's
giving
up
me.
with
Yeah.
that?
But the body feels love.
Yeah.
It feels like there's hope.
Yeah.
Because it's always working.
Yeah, it definitely will.
It's
feel
always
hopeful.
trying to survive, trying to take the toxins out and do.
Sure.
I'm telling you.
It's true. It's true. But of course, the body will also be like, what are you doing?
Feed
me.
Mm-hmm.
Feed me.
Mm-hmm.
But once you don't, it'll start being like, oh, well, then fine. I'll use the fat that's stored on your body then if you're not going to
Isn't that a good thing? Good.
There's plenty of fat on our bodies that are, your body will be able to get some fuel.
And guess who loves the fat the most?
Who or
your
what?
Brain.
Your brain.
The brain loves the fat stores.
Amen.
Amen.
So I guess we are winding down. I was just scrolling up to make sure there wasn't any question that that we missed. I see it was about the coffee and water again, and that's usually a typical question that gets asked right away about fasting is what can I have?
Yeah.
So good. So that would be, I think that's it. We've given you everything that you need to get started, and then hopefully you're going to be excited to win tomorrow.
Fun.
Win tomorrow. Win.
Fun.
Yes. And eat some good stuff like a cheeseburger.
With no bun. Shut up. Grass-fed, finished meat, please.
With bacon.
Okay. Grass-fed.
Anyway, she's going to the standard again. I'm just talking about eating. Anyway, so if there's nothing else, if you can just maybe drop in the chat, a thumbs up. Drop a thumbs up in the chat so I know that everybody heard the last of the last.
Amen.
Or wave, or do a wave in the chat. A thumbs up or a wave in the chat so that we know you're heading out. And we will hopefully see all of you tomorrow with maybe some of your friends. It's
7:30.
7:30 tomorrow night. Excellent.
Take your temple back.
Take your temple back.
Amen.
Awesome.
Hey, bye.
That was awesome. Very nice. Thank you guys so much.
Enjoy your night.
All right, I'm going to close this out. You're welcome. And we're on delay, so I'm going to give it a minute. It's supposed to no longer be live. End. Denise, thank you, guys.